Thank you very much for attending today. Today is obviously a very big day for the Missouri Mavericks, a very historic day in our history, and I want to get right to it. So I'd like to announce without further delay or introduce the ECHL Commissioner, Mr. Brian McKenna.
Thank you, Brent. It's my pleasure to be with you here today on behalf of the ECHL and our Board of Governors. I'd like to thank the Mavericks organization for making that invitation. We're proud to have the Mavericks as part of the ECHL. I'd like to thank Mayor Weir, City Manager Robert Haycock. This is my second visit to the Independence Event Center, and I can tell you that my impression is that it's a fantastic facility and a terrific hockey venue. I'd like to as well take a minute just to thank Matt Adams and his group, who will be with us tonight but not here at this time, the former owner, for bringing the Mavericks to Missouri, and also for his work this past summer in terms of helping us with the integration of the CHL teams to the ECHL. Without his help and assistance, I'm not sure that it would have happened. Now, on behalf of the league, I'd like to officially welcome Lamar Hunt as the new owner of the Missouri Mavericks. Mr. Hunt has had a long history. In the sports business, and as you all know, deep ties to the Kansas City area. His background and experience will be beneficial not only for the Mavericks but also for the entire league as well. This ownership change comes at a very opportune time for the league, and I think also for Mr. Hunt. We are very excited about the period we're going through in the ECHL right now. There is certainly a dramatic transformation occurring at the minor league hockey level. 4 months ago, as you all know, we expanded to take in the former members of the CHL and make us a 28-team league. For the first time in our 27-year history, we now have a national presence and a league and a platform of which to continue to grow. Last week, the ECHL and the American Hockey League as well announced several transfers that allow markets in the American Hockey League to transfer west and create a Pacific division for the American Hockey League, which certainly will be a benefit to accommodate the NHL teams in terms of their player development plans for the future. It's also a very good move for the ECHL as well, in that it opened up several markets in the East, which are going to be good markets for us for the future as well. This evolution will most likely continue over the next 12 to 18 months. The end result will be a more and better integrated minor league hockey system and a strong and vibrant ECHL. We welcome Lamar's input, his guidance as a member of our Board of Governors as this whole process unfolds over the next 12 to 18 months. His involvement at the team level and his experience in the growth and development of leagues in various sports will be invaluable to us. We are excited about the potential that his involvement brings to both the Mavericks and the ECHL. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lamar Hunt.
When we got started in this process, I started thinking, golly, I've got to wear orange. And I think in Kansas City the color orange is kind of, oh, what are you talking about here? My wife even said, that's the Broncos. So, but now I'm glad to see that we all have our orange ties on, and we can actually have a dueling orange tie contest. I give my vote today to Coach Mapachek. A lot of people have asked, why hockey? I grew up in a sports-minded family. I grew up with a father who I think never saw a sporting event he didn't want to go to, and hockey was part of that growing up. I can honestly say I've attended some of the greatest sporting events in the world, from seeing Bob Gibson and Denny McLain pitch in a World Series game in 1968, to seeing Bobby Clark fight on the ice in the late 70s in Philadelphia, to seeing the Chicago Blackhawks in hockey quite a lot, and different teams through the years. I tell a story, and I think it's worth telling, is that growing up, we would go to the Dallas Blackhawks minor league hockey games, and my father had a very dear friend who is still alive to this day, who was from Fort Worth, and Dallas was playing Fort Worth. I think the Fort Worth team was the Brahmas, Fort Worth Brahmas at that time, and we were seated along the glass near the Dallas penalty box with our friend, an attorney, and lo and behold, a Dallas player sent to the penalty box, and lo and behold, he gets into a fight with that player. So seeing a fan there starting to fight with a player was sort of, it just shows you the intensity of the sport and the feelings of the sport. I'm going to give a couple of shout outs here because I think it's very, very important to echo what Commissioner McKenna said, that the past ownership, Matt Adams and his group who will be here tonight, they took quite a risk, I think, doing what they did. And they did two things. They brought a team to Independence, Missouri, and then they did the second thing was to integrate the CHL, help integrate the CHL or fold it into the ECHL. Tremendous risks, really, if you think about it, given the history of hockey here in Kansas City. We don't have a lot of sheets of ice here, and we want to really work on growing the sport of hockey, and we see the Mavericks as a great brand and a great platform to do that. But to make all this happen, the shout out has to go to first Brent Thiessen, the general manager, his wife Nikki, their family, for really this is lifeblood for them. To the staff, all the staff who've come through here, those that have been here for the whole time, it's extremely important. The amount of hours that they put in, fun and excitement in sports is usually disguised as hard work. It really is. The fans. My father said it years ago, the fans are what makes this possible. My first taste was, in a sense, going to an ECHL All-Star game back in mid-January or later January and seeing fans on the plane from the Mavericks and in the stands at the game. I mean, that was like fantastic for me to see that in Orlando. The sponsors, you see many of their names around the arena here. Many of you patronize them. How important they are for sports teams to have sponsorship. The City of Independence, Mayor Weir, all those. Robert Haycock? Did I say that right? He's not here today. The city manager. All the people from the city who have been involved in helping with this team and how important it is, and just what you've done. You've put this on the map. There are two media advocates that I want to shout out that have been longtime fans of the Mavericks, and that's Bill Outhouse and James Dornbrook. What a fantastic thing they've invested their time, energy, and effort in covering this team and being close to it. It's really a grassroots effort. Last one I would mention is just, when there's ice, there's figure skaters. And one of the wonderful things about ice hockey is that it brings also the lovely sport of figure skating to sort of counterbalance it, if you will. But these are all things that are going to make these things go forward. People have asked me, okay, what are you going to do with this? What are you going to do? What's this going to be related to? And very quickly I can say, look, we want to have good affiliations for the Mavericks, hopefully at the NHL level, really bring that level into professional hockey that we know we've been transitioning through from coming from the CCHL. Second thing we want to do is really concentrate on building more skaters in the Kansas City. I talk about the greater Kansas City area. Getting more skaters on the ice to play ice hockey. You need more sheets of ice to do that. We've got a vision for that. We'll unfold that as time goes on. As you know, it hasn't come easy, and it won't come easy there either. And the third thing is just to continue to build the brand in the whole greater Kansas City area. I am colorblind when it comes to the state line. However, I recognize that this is the city of Independence and everything that this community has done for this team, but we want to tell people about this. I have brought people to games over the last few months, and when they come in, they said, I had no idea this was here, this existed. So those are sort of the short-term goals, but also I think anything we can do to help you, the fan, the sponsors, the community, build this brand, we're here to do it, and it's not too far of a drive from my house to come to a game. So thank you all very much. Am I supposed to introduce? Who am I supposed to introduce? Brent? I'm going to go back to Brent and we'll talk later. Thank you.
At this time, we actually have a gift to Lamar and to the Mayor Weir that we'd like to present to them. Missouri Maverick jerseys bearing their name.
We will wear it tonight. Everybody good?
And at this time, I would like to introduce the Mayor of Independence, Mayor Weir.
Thank you very much. This is an exciting day. I was saying to Brent, this is the second time this season that we've been in this room for for exciting announcements. So it's been quite a year for the City of Independence and especially for our Missouri Mavericks. 22 years ago, I was plucked from obscurity and offered a job with the Kansas City Chiefs and moved from the state of New York to the Kansas City area to work for the organization, and I have had no greater privilege in my life than working for and getting to know the Hunt family. So it is particularly meaningful for me today to be here with Lamar Hunt and his family and his capable staff for this announcement of the ownership of the Missouri Mavericks. I can tell you from being around Lamar and his wife and their family and the people that they surround themselves with that we are in very good hands in Independence with this leadership. They truly are sports fans, wonderful business people, and really enjoy, as Lamar has said, the interaction with the fans and the community. I'm very, very pleased to have this partnership. I said to a group of young people that I was talking to this week, they said, is being the mayor like being the president of the United States? And I said, well, it's really more like being the Secretary of State. I feel like my job as mayor primarily is to build partnerships, to build relationships within our community and particularly outside of our community, and to let people know what a great city we live in and what wonderful things that we have going on. So this is a partnership that we can be particularly proud of. I know that we will enjoy for many, many years, and we will all enjoy the benefits of having Lamar and his family involved with our Missouri Mavericks and with promoting youth hockey around the region. So thank you, Lamar, for being here with us today, and we look forward to working with you.
At this time, we are going to open it up to questions from the media. So I am going to step aside here, and are there any questions at all from the media? Yes?
I'd like to ask about the big picture related to expanding hockey throughout the area. Is there an ultimate goal? Is it related to there's been long talk about the Sprint Center and things like that, and hockey in general in this area. I just kind of want to understand that a little bit more about the big picture of working on hockey throughout the metropolitan area.
Do you want to stand up now?
Yeah, please.
One thing I would say is that we've taken a step to fit into the big picture of hockey, which was done when the team went from the CHL to the ECHL. There's very clear alignment and affiliations with NHL teams, American Hockey League teams, and ECHL teams. So that's a good first step for Kansas City, I think. And that really was not done on my watch. It was done just a few months ago. We have, to the best of our knowledge, I think 4 sheets of ice in Kansas City. So I think if we could increase that 50% in a fairly expedient and straightforward manner, we'd be doing a lot. We need to be able to attract national tournaments and things like that for hockey, get teams from St. Louis to come play here, or from Chicago, or from Omaha, or those places, as opposed to our teams having to export themselves and constantly be on the road. I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was, that said every weekend they're driving 8, 10, 12 hours a weekend to go play youth hockey in other markets. So I think that would be the short-term vision. Listen, an NHL franchise is no easy undertaking. It would be a major commitment for a community to do that. And it's great to dream, but I think we also have to be realistic about what a market can handle and absorb. And let's see what happens. We need to get kids on the ice. We need to create scarcity just in this arena for the tickets. I think that would be a great thing. This is the thing to go to, and if you haven't been to a game, and most of you probably have here, it's a great thing to go to. It's a lot of fun. So
Mr. Hunt, your intention, just to be clear here, is to operate the Mavericks as a minor league team and not use it as a stalking horse for a major league NHL team downtown at the Sprint Center.
absolutely, we want to be profitable, tongue in cheek.
You know, what's that mean?
Well, what I mean is, I think NHL teams, it's a difficult business. It's an extremely difficult business, and I think there would be a huge amount of risk that would be taken in markets to put in an NHL team at this point, because they've had some struggles for sure.
Mr. Hunt, you talked about trying to reach the greater part of the Kansas City area. How much, when you talk about the brand, does the name Missouri hinder the far-reaching across the state line?
Well, in my mind, it doesn't, but I can understand the question, meaning where in Missouri, right? I think that's up to us to get that brand out, and I think you do it through the junior program. I think you do it through the junior Mavericks.
Can you talk about how this process started?
Well, the first, I think we just walked in here and made an appointment to see Brent and looked around and said, wow, this is fantastic. And then courted a little bit, and things got cold for a little while, no pun intended. And then we came back around and got serious about it and said, look, we think they've done such a great job. And you look at the economics, you do all your due diligence and things like that. You get to know people, you get to understand the relationships and how you want to go forward. And I would add one thing that was very important for us in the negotiations, to make sure that Brent Thiessen was awarded a new contract. So we did go forward with him with a new contract, which was very important for us.
What's the timetable? How many months has this been going on?
Intensely, it went on for 60 days. Superficially, if you want to call it that, maybe another 60 to 90 days outside of that.
For the commissioner, if I could ask, Lamar's talked about affiliation with an NHL team. Are there any ECHL teams that have a direct without the AHL in the middle? You know what I'm saying? Got the middleman, the AHL. How many teams? How realistic is this team can be the top form club of the Blues or the Stars or somebody like that?
No, it would be a secondary affiliation. The relationship, though, between the teams in our league, through the American League, to the NHL team, generally that's directed by the NHL team. They're the ones that make the hockey decisions in terms of who they're going to sign and put in both the American League and put in our league. So typically that affiliation is done with them, and then the middleman is just part of that in the equation.
So there's no direct ECHL teams who doesn't have an AHL team in the middle.
Correct,
Okay.
right. There's always that AAA. The American League is the AAA,
Right.
we're the
Got
AA,
it.
so there's always the AAA team as part of the relationship.
And having a Lamar Hunt Jr. as an owner, I mean, what impact does that have in a AA league?
We're very excited about it. I think he certainly sees a vision for this community and the area in terms of what he wants to do for hockey. But for us to have someone with certainly that background, experience, expertise in the sports business is certainly something that we very much welcome.
Okay, well, I got you real quick. It doesn't take too much time. You talked about these franchises that moved around. Is that easy to explain, or do I need to get later?
Probably better later. Believe me, there's been a lot going on the past 60 days.
Okay. And Lamar, it's going to stay orange, no red? You're not going to change uniforms next
We're
year?
not tinkering with the brand. It's a great brand.